Good morning. Welcome to Hatha Flow. Have any props that you might have nearby? So, yoga blocks or anything to bring the floor closer to you, straps, cushions, and we'll get going. I'll make my way to my mat. And we'll start seated. I'll try to center myself. So find a comfortable seat. If that means sitting on the heels or on the sit bones, sometimes a cushion helps to prop up those hips a little so that you can access a nice tall spine. And we'll start by settling in. So first with eyes soft, or you could start to close them, whatever feels comfortable. Just start to drop into the room that you're at. Start to feel the interaction of your external environment with your body. So feel your body in this room and tune into your breath. Just starting to arrive. Our breath and our body will be the anchors back to the present moment. You can hear me okay? So as we sit here, we keep yoking ourselves back to that present moment. We acknowledge that the mind flutters away every so often. We just gently bring ourselves back. You can tap into the feeling of air on your skin or the earth underneath you, the light in the room, the sensation of your breath, the rhythm, the sound, the depth. Today, I'd like to invite us to think about perspective. Sometimes it gets really easy to hyper focus on one thing in our lives, on something stressful, on something uncomfortable, or even on something that creates that dopamine rush. We can get focused on one part of our lives, work, family, always tends to be the more stressful thing. But I think mindfulness and yoga and this movement practice offer us is a chance to step away, reconnect to our bodies and ourselves, and zoom out a little to remember to gain some perspective on our lives and what we want. So, as you sit here in your body, in your breath, maybe start to zoom out a little and imagine yourself in this room that you're in, feeling the body in the room, maybe in your house or building, in your city, your country, on this earth. Knowing that the small things matter and the small things are pretty small. Let's slowly start to move with our breath. We'll take our arms out next to us and sweep them over the head on the inhalation. And exhale, hands down through the center. Two more of those. Inhaling, reaching, and exhaling down through the center. One more time, sweeping your space out in this room, and then hands back to the center. Bow to yourself, set your own intentions for the practice, and perhaps add in the intention to meet your body where it's at, to listen to its messages, to move through a pain free range of motion. And let's reach our arms up overhead one more time. Let the shoulders fall down the back. Hold them up there. And then tune in to how the breath interacts with the body. As we inhale, everything lifts up, our spine lengthens away from the earth. As we exhale, imagine your roots growing down into the earth and everything integrating into the center. And now we're going to take the left hand, take it to the outer edge of the right thigh. Right hand comes behind us, twist to the right. Inhale back up to center, arms high. Exhale, right hand to the left thigh, left hand behind you, twist to the left. Yeah, and inhale back up to center. This time we're going to take the right hand to the right thigh, the right hand to the left thigh, the left hand to the right thigh, and curl forward, stretching out the back of the shoulders, holding on gently to the thighs. And then we'll switch the cross of the arms. So if the right arm was over top last time, this time left arm over top. And now we cross them one more time. So left hand to the right thigh. And with that left arm, we're going to do big circles. Just getting into the range of motion of our shoulder. Switch direction. And then Right hand to the left thigh, same thing. Big circles with the left arm. And switch directions. And then back to center. Roll those shoulders out slightly. And then come over onto hands and knees. Hands set under the shoulders, knees set under the hips. Let's inhale, open the front body. And exhale, open the back body, cat and cow. Starting to get into more of the spine, the pelvis and hips. Activating the fingertips, especially as you exhale and press into the earth, rounding the back. And just notice the mobility in your spine. Keep coming back to the breath and the interaction between breath and movement. Beautiful. Now open the knees wide, toes together. Come back into a child's pose for a moment and let yourself ground. These little breaks in our practice also serve as check-in points, as times we can zoom out and notice how the body feels, notice how we feel in our space. And then we slowly come back up to hands and knees. So we'll bring the knees right under the hips again and just rock back and forth. Exhaling hips towards the heels into a half child's pose. Inhale, come forward onto hands and knees. And just start to get some stretch into the shoulders. Again, linking breath to movement. Back and forth. Nice. And now for the next three, hips back, and we'll keep the nose low to come into our shoulder flows. We pull the nose along the mat, elbows out to the side, hips stay high, press up, curl back, open the heart on the way forward, and exhale all the way back. We'll do two more of those on your own breath. Saying good morning, finding some more movement in all of your joints. Now let's bring those knees back under the hips, curl the toes under, lift the knees up off the floor, and shift those hips back to the back of the mat. For a first downward dog, the knees can be bent, heels off the ground, but long spine, sit bones reaching back. You can slowly experiment with straightening the legs. You can pedal them out. And then slowly start to walk the feet up towards the front of the mat. Come to a forward fold with the knees bent as much as needed. And let the head and neck go. You can always support yourself for these first forward folds as well if needed, or all of them on thighs, on blocks. And then slowly we'll curl up to standing. Palms facing forward, Tadasana, mountain pose. We get used to this new perspective, this new spot. Now that we're up and standing, feeling those legs rooting down towards the earth, head reaching up to the sky. Next inhalation, reach those arms up above you. And exhale, fold forward. Two more of those. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold. And one more time, all the way up and fold forward. We'll hold this forward fold again. You can support yourself on thighs, on blocks, or to the earth. And every inhalation, imagine those sit bones being pulled up to the sky, heels digging down to the earth. Every exhalation, you melt a little deeper, even if it's a tiny little micrometer into the fold. And then hands to shins or thighs. Look up halfway on the next inhalation. Extend that spine forward. And then fingertips to the ground. Left leg steps back behind us for a runner's lunge. We can use blocks under those hands to achieve a little bit more space in the torso. Back leg is strong and straight. Once you've got that position, walk that left hand to the left, right hand to the back of the pelvis, lean to the left and twist. And now with that right arm, 3 big circles in each direction again. We're really going to find mobility in our shoulders today and carve out this space to get some perspective. Once you're done those 3 circles in each direction, back to center, and then back knee comes down to the earth, and we'll press ourselves up to a low lunge. If you need something underneath that back knee, you can slide a cushion under there or double fold your mat. Draw those legs towards each other, and then melt a little further forward, and just step back and see where you feel this pose. Finding your edge where there's some effort and some effortlessness. And then release the hands to the earth, step back to hands and knees or to plank. Plank can be on elbows, on knees, on toes, or anything in between as we draw everything into the center. Scan through the body, make sure there is no tension in the jaw, between the eyebrows. There's strong arms and shoulders, but soft heart, soft gaze. Everything's drawing into the core, but we're not squeezing. We're pressing those heels back, and then drop the knees down and come all the way down to the earth. Walk the hands nice and wide. Come to fingertips, elbows pointing up for spider cobra. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, release. So a little bit of pressure into those fingertips, but only moving to that spot where you don't feel compression in the spine. You feel activation. And one more time, hold it up there. And release down, hands under the shoulders, curl the toes under, press up to plank pose, and back to downward facing dog. Down dog becomes a reset point, a check-in to even out the breath, to notice the sensations in the body and any changes. And then left foot will step forward. It might take more than one step. It might take a little help from the hands. And we come into our runner's lunge again. We set that front knee right above the front ankle. We strengthen up that back leg and walk the right hand to the right, left hand to the pelvis and twist as you lean to the right. And then 3 big circles in each direction with the left arm. Finding mobility, trying to smooth out that motion. And then coming back to center, back knee comes to the earth. We press ourselves up, draw those legs in towards each other, and then lunge forward into that front leg to feel the length from the right knee all the way up through the front body. Find your edge where you feel strong and integrated, but also a little bit of release, letting go towards the earth. And then release the hands down, pick up that back knee, step forward to a forward fold, and let go. I'm going to bend the knees nice and deep for our first chair, Utkatasana, sitting those sit bones back, peeling the torso up off the thighs, hands to the heart to begin with. Imagine the sit bones attached to strings behind you, and somebody's pulling them backwards, lots of weight in the heels. And then take a peek at your feet. Make sure you can see your toes and connect to the core. Make sure the ribs aren't dumping forward, that those bottom ribs are drawing in towards the body and down to the pelvis to neutralize the low back. One more breath here. And inhale all the way up. Inhale, let's bring those arms up overhead. This time they're going to come down to the sides and come into eagle arms. So crossing right arm over left arm, bending at the elbow, taking a hold of the wrist, the forearm, or the hand. Release the shoulders down away from the ears and bring those elbows up a little more. And then we're going to exhale, dive forward with those eagle arms. Hold here for a moment. As you let go of those arms, right hand is going to come to the left ankle and left hand to the right ankle. Just like what we were doing in our seated position there. If they don't come to the ankles, shins is fine, even up at the thighs. And round out that lower back. And now with the right arm, 3 big circles in each direction. And then put the right hand on the left leg and left arm, 3 big circles in each direction. There we go. And then release the hand, look up halfway, lengthen the spine. And fingertips to the ground, step the right leg back behind you. Come down on that right knee and press yourself up again for that low lunge. Finding any cushions you need underneath that right knee. And then right arm's going to come up. You can always stay at the previous step. Maybe the left hand pulls at that right wrist and over to the left, slightly arcing. And back to center. Bring the left elbow to the left thigh and open up to the right. Maybe even reaching that right arm back behind you. Keep pressing that left thigh, that left knee to the left. And then back to center. Replace the hands, step back into a plank or to hands and knees or anything in between. Drop the knees down, come all the way to the abdomen, flip the feet over, hands either beside the ribs or under the shoulders, squeeze those elbows in. Baby Cobra flow. So with the tops of the feet anchored to the earth, rooted to the earth, we inhale, lift the heart, little bit of pressure in the hands, but again, not so much arc in the back that we start to feel compression. Exhale, come down. We're waking up those muscles along the spine, those postural muscles. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Last time, inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back. And then all the way down, curl the toes under, come up and back, downward facing dog. Check in. Notice if this downward dog feels any different from any of the previous downward dogs. Zoom out, feel the air on your skin, feel your presence in the room. And then 1, 2, or many steps brings the right foot between the hands and the left knee down to the earth. We press ourselves up and we find that lunge, that balance between strength, keep those legs integrated into the body, and release to bring that pelvis closer to the floor. Left arm can come up. Maybe you stay here. Maybe right hand takes the left wrist and draws it over to the right. And then we come back to center. We release the arms, right elbow to the right thigh. And then we open to the left, maybe reaching that left arm back behind us. Staying wide through the collarbones. Keeping that right knee pressing right. And then back to center. Replace the hands on either side of that front foot. Pick up the back knee and step forward. Forward fold. Bend the knees nice and deep. Peel the torso up off the thighs. And either hands in prayer, or this time we can do eagle arms again, this time crossing left over right. Coming down, lots of weight in the heels. Keeping that space between ears and tips of the shoulders nice and open and wide. And inhale all the way up, release the arms, reach them to the sky. And exhale, fold. Look up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fingertips to the earth. Left leg steps back behind us. And this time we're going to spin that left heel down and parallel the feet so that we come to a wide-legged forward fold. So feet are parallel. Outer edges of the feet are grounded. And hands are right under the shoulders. Maybe you have props to bring them up on. Just experiment a little here with rocking back to the heels and forward to the fronts of the feet, and find somewhere in between to hang out. Maybe you start to bend the elbows a little bit as you take the top of the head towards the earth. And you keep pressing out through the four corners of both feet, especially on the inhalation. The hands might walk in line with the feet, elbows pointing back behind. And then we walk back under the shoulders. We're going to walk those hands towards that left foot. And maybe you can take the ankle with one hand. Maybe you can take the ankle, shin, or thigh with both hands and draw yourself down towards that left leg. Maybe you can even keep the right hand on the left leg somewhere, if that's how far you've gotten, and reach up with that left arm and twist. You might even do 3 big circles in each direction. And I might take down my art on the wall here. And then let's come back to center. Do whatever you need to do between sides. Get a breather, get some perspective, and then exhale, walk the hands over towards the right. Keep pressing that left sit bone out behind you. I know that hip wants to come with you. Let's anchor it back so that we get lots of length through the left hip and waist. You might be able to take hold of that right ankle or thigh or shin or foot with the right hand. You might even be able to do it with both hands as you fold over that right leg. If you have both hands there, keep the left hand there, reach the right arm up, twist. And then maybe 3 circles with that right arm. And then we walk back to the front of the mat, turn on those back toes, step back to hands and knees or plank, and come all the way down to the earth. Now, this time you can pick wide-armed cobra or baby cobra. We inhale, lift that heart off the earth and hold it. Shoulders roll back, tops of the feet grounded, thighs grounded, pelvis grounded. Looking for length. And release. Curl the toes under, come back to downward facing dog. Left foot steps between the hands. 1, 2, or many steps. Spin down on that right heel and then come all the way up again to standing with the legs wide. Parallel the feet for a moment. Then turn the toes out slightly and bend the knees out to the side into goddess. Feel all 4 corners of the feet planted and those arches lifting up. Maybe you can wiggle the toes and sit those hips a little deeper. We're going to bring the hands to the heart center. And 4 times, we'll sweep that circle out around us, press into the feet, straighten the legs, and exhale, draw those hands back down to the center, bend the knees back to goddess. 3 more times. On your own breath, finding smooth, even movement, watching both sides of the body. And 1 more time. And then we'll stay here. You can soften the eyes or close them as you breathe for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. And then bring the elbows to the thighs and lean forward. Stick those sit bones out behind you. Lengthen the head in front of you and feel that spine long between the head and the sit bones. We're going to take the left hand to the left leg, press it away and dip the left shoulder in, kind of getting a twist, a stretch to that left side. Come back to center, right hand on the right thigh, press that right thigh away, dip that right shoulder to the center of the legs, and back to center. One more breath here, sit those sit bones back a little further, and then hands can come to frame the left foot, spin on those right toes, step forward, and fold. Bend the knees nice and deep. Come up into your chair pose, hands at the heart, hands out front, or reaching up for 3, for 2, for 1, and reach. Beautiful. Exhale, fold forward. Last flow here. We bring the hands to shins or thighs, look up halfway, lengthen. Fingertips come down to the earth. Right leg steps back behind us. Right heel spins down. We come all the way up into our warrior 2. So heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Left knee is bending so that it comes right above that left ankle. Pelvis is opened to the long edge of the mat. Right leg is strong and powerful. Arms reach out to the sides. We look over those left fingertips and we gain some perspective. We zoom out and zoom in. We're going to take the right arm over the left, eagle arms, taking hold of forearm, wrist, or hand. And with the same legs, we open up the front body, tilting the heart up to the sky. And then exhale, release. Hands come down to the inner edge of that left leg and walk forward and diagonal, supported humble warrior. And then back to the front of the mat. Step back to hands and knees. And let's come into a child's pose here. Knees apart, toes together. Check in. We'll come back to hands and knees and come into your downward dog. Right leg will step forward 1, 2, or many steps. Left heel will spin down to the earth. And we come all the way up into our warrior 2 on the right. Bending that right knee to almost 90 degrees or 90 degrees. Powering up that left leg. Opening the pelvis to the long edge of the mat. Reaching those arms out. Gazing over the right fingertips. And now left arm comes over the right arm, crosses. We can either hug ourselves, come into eagle arms, and then lift that heart up and back. Same legs. Release that. Bring the hands to the inner edge of that right foot and walk the fingertips away from you for a supported humble warrior. And then frame that right foot, come up on those left toes and step forward, fold. Release, let go. And then slowly curl all the way up to standing. Tadasana, mountain pose. See yourself at the top of a mountain. Feel the feet grounded. Feel as solid as the mountain underneath you. Breathe in the air around you. Zoom out. See yourself there. Strong, stable, and free. And then slowly you can come back. We're going to do an eagle pose. How fitting for our last standing pose here. Bring the feet about hip distance apart and bring some bend into the knees. So you can choose to do just the legs or just the arms or both. For the arms, just hugging yourself works as well. So we'll start with the setting up the legs, pick up the right heel off the earth, and then cross that right leg over the left. Now toes could still be on the earth, or you could pick the foot up off the earth. We're squeezing those legs in towards each other. Those right toes might be able to come behind the left calf. This might be where you stay, hands on the hips or at the heart. Maybe the arms reach out and left arm crosses over the right, giving yourself a hug or coming into eagle arms yet again. Imagine being that eagle perched on top of the tree, getting that eagle eye view. You can start to draw in, bending deeper into that bottom leg, bringing the elbows closer to the knees, curling in. And then on the next inhalation, stretch those wings wide, maybe even stretch the leg out and release back to center. Beautiful. Take a moment in Tadasana. Move that through the body and get ready for the second side. Feet are parallel, hip distance apart. We bend the knees slightly. Come up on the left toes. Cross the left leg over the right, maybe staying on the toes, maybe picking that foot up off the ground. Squeeze those legs towards each other. You might be able to curl the left toes behind the right calf. Hands at hips or heart, or reaching out, right arm crosses over left, hugging yourself, or coming into eagle arms on this side. Shoulders away from the ears, elbows high. So you may stay here, or you might start to bend deeper into that right leg, bringing the elbows closer towards the knees, curling up into a ball. And then on the next inhalation, reaching out through the arms, maybe through the leg, and releasing back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Beautiful. Let's come down to the mat. Inhale, reach up, exhale, fold forward. Look up, halfway lengthen. And then hands to the earth. We step back to hands and knees. And this time you can do child's pose or come into puppy pose, hips over the knees, walking the hands forward, letting the forehead melt between the arms, maybe to a block, a prop, or cushion, keeping those hips high, working on softening that space between the heart center. Walk ourselves back up into a bit of a half child's pose. We're going to thread that right arm through the window, come to the right side of the face. You can support yourself with the left fingertips here, or take that left hand behind you as we do a twisted child. And then release that, coming back up to center. Hips come back slightly. Left hand threads through towards the right. Come on to the left side of the face. You can support yourself with the right fingertips or bring that right hand behind you. And release. Press all the way up. And wiggle it out a little before you come to seated. Reach the legs out in front of you. Move the flesh away from the sit bones. Come to Dadasana, staff pose. Take a moment here to close the eyes or soften the eyes and check in again. And then, if it feels right, you can start to press that heart forward, folding, draping yourself over your legs. You can make it passive by keeping the palms facing up, releasing over those legs. Or you can make it more active by taking a hold of the shins, the ankles, or the feet. Come all the way up. Bend the right knee. Open that right knee to the right foot to the inner left thigh. And again, we'll fold over that left leg. You can make it active. You can use a strap as well to maintain those shoulder blades on the back. Drawing the heart forward, release the head and neck to neutral. Come all the way up from that fold. Bring that left leg out to the left a little more. Right heel in towards the pelvis, this time coming diagonally down that left leg. Sliding the left elbow down. You can stay here, working on opening the collarbones or hand behind the back of the head, or hand reaching over towards that left foot. On the next inhale, you'll bring yourself all the way back up. Place the right hand down on the earth somewhere by that right hip. We're going to come up onto the right knee for a modified plank pose, pressing the hips forward, grounding into that left foot, maybe reaching up with that left arm, maybe even doing some circles again. In each direction. And then back down to seated. Reach the right leg out in front of you, bend the left knee. Open the left knee to the left. Left heel comes to the inner right thigh. Either passively folding over or supporting yourself with your hands or your belt. Draw the heart forward, release the head. Coming all the way back up. Bring that right leg out towards the right, left heel in towards the pelvis. Drag the right elbow down the right leg. Open the collarbones to the side. Either support the head with the back of the hand or the back of the head with the hand, or reach the arm overhead. Come all the way back up. Place that left hand on the earth. Come up on the left knee. Press out through the right leg. Maybe right arm comes up. Maybe it makes big circles in each direction. And sit those sit bones back down. Bring the legs out in front. Give them a shake. We'll bend the knees. Bring the feet together. Let the knees fall out to the sides. You can wiggle onto your sit bones and find the right distance between ankles and sit bones that allow you to have that nice tall spine and a good stretch through the inner thighs. Take hold of the ankles with the hands or keep the hands pressed behind you for support. Dadasana. You can stay here or you can start to fold forward as well. Slowly come all the way up. Bring those knees towards each other and we'll make our way down towards our backs. When you get to your back, feet walk apart, knees fall in towards each other, and let the pelvis and the low back settle. Taking a few breaths to adjust. Walk the feet in towards each other. Draw those knees in, arms out to the side in a T or in cactus arms. Let the legs drop over to the left as you look over your right shoulder for a twist. We hold for a few breaths longer than what it takes to get into the pose so that you can fully experience it. Beyond the setup time, beyond the initial cricks and cracks and sensations. We then give ourselves time to step back and watch ourselves get deeper. Notice where else we're compensating with tension. Back up to center, and then knees come over to the right as we look over to the left. And back to center. Take the knees and the hands and do some circles in one direction and the other direction, away from each other. And come into a happy baby pose, bringing the feet up toward the sky, bending the knees, taking a hold of either the shins, the ankles, or the outer edges of the feet or toes with the hands, and drawing those knees down towards the earth. You can take a few rocks here. And allow the breath to fully permeate every part of you. And then slowly release those feet. If there's anything else that you need to do before Shavasana, final relaxation, go for it. Listen to your body. It's always the captain of this ship. And then whenever you're ready, find your position for final relaxation, whatever's calling to you, wherever you feel like you can feel safe, relaxed. Once you get there, we'll tune into the sensations down the body, scanning without judgment or stories from the top of the head, down through the forehead, the scalp, the eyes, cheeks, nose, mouth, jaw, chin, down past the ears and the back of the head, down the sides of the necks, over the tips of the shoulders, and down each arm. Attention painting its way down towards the fingertips and the thumbs. Down the front of the neck, across the collarbones, the chest, the front ribs, underneath the armpits, down the sides of the body, the abdomen, the front of the pelvis, and the back of the neck, down across the shoulder blades, the upper back, the mid back, down the sides of the back, sides of the body from the armpits down to the waist, the lower back, the sacrum and the back of the pelvis, and the buttocks, down through the hip joint, the tension moving down the upper leg and lower leg, ankle, heel, arch of the foot, ball of the foot, top of the foot, and every single toe. Completely present in your body, on your mat, in your space, your home, or wherever you're practicing. Your community, city, country. Feel your breath filling up your body, filling up your space in the world. And see yourself a small but important, necessary part of the big picture. Stay here for as long as you need to, as long as you can. Before bringing yourself back to the day, make sure you thank yourself for this pause, very productive pause, this check-in. I thank you for practicing with me. I hope you have a beautiful day. The light in me bows to the light in you.